Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Supporting Black Authors Book Club. I am your host, Mr. Deborah Davis, coming to you live from Facebook and YouTube, as I do every Tuesday night with an awesome guest. We have an awesome author in the house tonight, and just tell you a little bit about him. Author Rian Robinson, the author of Crossroads, One Black Man's Journey Through Race, Religion, and Politics. Let me just give you a little bit background. Author Robinson was born and raised in San Francisco, California, discovered art at an early age through drawing and later expressing his creativity through drumming. He's an accomplished musician, having recorded several albums and most recently published his first book, which we will be discussing tonight, Crossroads. He is a proud father of 2 adult children. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to some and introduce to others author Rian J. Robinson. Hello.
Hi, Miss
How
Deborah.
you doing? Welcome to Support Black Authors Book Club.
Thanks for having me.
How are you? Good. Listen, I read a little snippet of your bio. I usually don't read a lot of the bio, so relax. You know, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna welcome our viewers. I want to welcome. Oh, hi everybody. How y'all doing? I'm looking at my phone. I can see the viewers and one of my number one fans, Dr. Tenaria. Hi, Dr. Tenaria. My Auntie Ethel. Hi, Auntie. Oh, Miss Gwen Washington, Miss Carday, how y'all doing? We got our third Rian Robinson tonight. So I read a snippet of your bio. So if there's something that you like to add for the viewers, or if there's somebody that you like to give a thank you or shout out to do that now.
Okay, I'm glad you asked. I do want to first my beautiful children, Ryan Jr. I don't know if he's watching or not, but and my daughter Janae, my hearts. Want to shout them out. Want to shout out Pastor William H. Coleman and Praise Bible Church of Richmond, California. And I want to shout out my Miss Joy Marie Young.
All right, okay. So you gave a shout out to family members and friends. I just want to let everybody know sometimes the StreamYard can be a little choppy. I see what you're saying, Gwen, that the voices are breaking up, and sometimes that does happen. Just bear with us. You know, now she's saying, okay, it is much better. You know, so these things, y'all know how modern day technology could be, you know, so if you can hear me good, that's good. So we have Ms. Young saying, hey, Mr. Robson. You know, I love supporting our Black authors. This is a new author. You know, we don't always have to do renowned authors, celebrities. We want to give our new authors as much exposure as we possibly can. I have my book. Y'all know I got my book, Crossroads. Come on now. One Black Man's Journey Through Race, Religion, and Politics, which these subjects are not easy subjects to discuss. We don't want to offend anyone, but this is a memoir. And so these are author Rian's views. Am I correct in saying that?
You are correct. It's very true.
So we want to talk about the title, and I want to know what made you name your book Crossroads.
Well, so first of all, I wasn't intending on writing a book. That wasn't, so from the offset, that wasn't something that I was setting out to do. What my initial thoughts revolved around just having a space to express my thoughts, my feelings, my experiences. A lot of things were just starting to get bound up. And I was in a period of self-reflection. And I started to ask myself some very pointed questions, right? So, like, what What are you? Who are you? How did you get to this point? And it really got more philosophical than just vague, right? So a younger version of me would have said, well, I'm Ryan. I'm, you know, my parents are this, my brother, my sister, whatever. But I started to really uh just really be pointed and just, just really do a deep dive into my personhood and try to draw some conclusions based around um based around all these experiences that I had gone through as a person. So when I looked at that, I saw, wow, my upbringing was this particular way, right?
So that's how the title came about.
The title came about. The title was derived from, well, first of all, my editor came up with the title, so got to shout her out.
Oh, okay, that's what the question.
Right? Yeah, shout.
Okay.
The title came about from the idea of race, religion, and politics being this inevitable intersection,
Mm-hmm.
right? And not being able to divorce one from the other, which is the conclusion that I had came to, right? Was that when you deal with race, at some point you're gonna have to deal with religion. You deal with religion, you're gonna have to deal with politics. The three are interwoven, and they
Into one, right?
they
Yeah,
can't
and
separate.
yeah, and that's what I wanted to say. Also, we're talking about race, religion, and politics, and we know those are some touchy subjects. You even mentioned in your book that your mother told you at the dinner table never discuss these three things. Never discuss race, religion, and politics. Now, when your mother told you that, did she mean never discuss that at her dinner table or never discuss it at dinner tables at all?
Well, so when my mother said that, she got that from her mother, from my grandmother.
Yeah, we're gonna get.
So she
Mm-hmm.
said that, and she said it within the context of a family gathering, right? So that I never really questioned her about it, but
Uh-uh.
I it stemmed from the fact that things can get, if you're in an intimate family setting, things can get really heated really fast when you're
Mm-hmm.
one of those three subjects. So I understood that part of it. What I didn't understand is why we never did it all.
And we, yeah,
And we never got to. So,
in and out.
it never moved from the dinner table to the sofa to the, any other place. It was never discussed at all,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
which
mm-hmm,
intrigued me, right? Which
mm-hmm.
I thought, why not? Because they're so vitally important to
But
our existence and to our humanity.
yes, exactly. And especially, it's coming from your mother, so which we're gonna get to that like sort of hereditary traditional things that happen because we talking about religion, we talking about race, and we talking about politics. And we know a lot of stuff is handed down from generation
Sure.
to generation to generation. Come on, y'all, give us some hearts. Give him some hearts. Give him some love. Listen, he's a new author. This is his first interview. I'm humbled and I'm excited to have him to come to Supporting Black Authors Book Club. Y'all know we want to give him as much exposure as we possibly can. Come on, this is his book, Crossroads. Author Ryan J. Robinson, give him some love, give him some heart. Share this video, like this video, start a watch party so that he can get the exposure that he needs to sell this book. I'm excited because let me tell you, I know that this book, I picked the book up and I started reading and I was like, oh my God, wow. Y'all, I can't even give you my thoughts right now, but I was like, this is going to be a successful author. And I get the first interview. We get the first interview, y'all that have been watching, So we want you to share the interview, share this, start a watch party. And we're going to make sure that he gets the exposure he needs from Supporting Black Authors Book Club. So I want to talk a little bit about what some of the stuff that I pulled out of the book. And one thing I pulled out, because we're not going to be able to cover the book, and we don't want to cover the whole thing because we want you to get the book.
Right. Right.
But I did pull some stuff out of there, and I read, you said, it says, to succeed and prosper as a Black man in America, you must be pro-Black. Please explain to the viewers what you mean by pro-Black.
Yeah. So we're okay. We're right deep into it. So the point that I was trying to make in being pro-Black is that there's no way for me to separate my Blackness from my humanity, right? So I need to affirm and I need to assert my humanity through my Blackness.
Oh,
right? So, and I don't want to give it away too much, but let me just say it this way. In order to embrace me as a man, right, and everything that's able, all my gifts, all my talent, all my wisdom, intellect, insight, perspective, this and that and the other, what comes along with that is my Blackness, my ancestry, right? With it, what comes with that is an oppressed, is being part of an oppressed people, right? Been marginalized, people that have been disenfranchised, people that have been abused throughout generations. That is part of my DNA.
Exactly.
I carry that with me. So as a Black, as a non-Black, whatever, that's something that needs to be dealt with, right? It's something that needs to be acknowledged.
It is something that needs to be dealt with and acknowledged. And you say that the many character traits to help identify and validate Blackness, such as like broken English and Ebonics, etc. Just let's touch on that just a little bit. Are you saying that is what would validate you as a Black man?
Well, I'm saying that that's if I speak that way, or if another Black person speaks that way, that's a cause for disparity. So now, traditionally, we've been looked down upon by a lot of our, a lot of the ways in which we express ourselves within our culture, right? Like, well, how come they can't speak quote unquote proper English? And so,
Yeah.
and at the same time, there's an interesting dynamic that comes into play, because we have people that would disparage us for speaking in broken English or quote unquote, and then at the same time they culturally appropriate, and then they try to talk like us.
Oh wow! Yeah, listen. I was raised on the Army bases, and so my stepfather was from Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
When we would go to Georgia, I got teased, and they would say, "Oh, she talking like a white girl," and I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
I had no clue what that meant. I just know I got teased for it, and I was like, "What are they talking about?
Right.
What are they saying that for?" And I never really knew what they meant by that. There's a certain language for Black people, and there's a certain language for other ethnic groups, I'll say.
Sure.
So I found that to be something that I could relate to when I read that in your book. So y'all come on with your comments. And you gotta have some questions and comments for these subjects. I know you're gonna have some in a few minutes, because we're gonna talk about, let me see, I found something interesting where you said, when one begins to understand that legislation and policy were created for the purpose of suppressing a group, it becomes impossible to play the role of the good all American citizen. So I found two words in that paragraph that stood out to me. You say, I find it interesting. Where you say, I find it interesting where you say, when one begins to understand that legislation and policy were created for the purpose, that word jumped off for me. Purpose. It jumped off because we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and to them who are called to his purpose.
His purpose.
His purpose. It's about his purpose, not about our purpose. And that jumped off the page. And you said, of suppressing a group, it becomes impossible to play. And so we know without faith, it is impossible to please God. Why? Because faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So those two things stuck out to me, that we don't have to play a role of an all-American citizen. So I want you to just talk about that paragraph there just a little bit, Arthur Robinson. Author, your author, Rian Robinson. You got a new title, you know.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. So this is where we're delving into the political side, and this is where we see that politics has a direct effect on the quality of our livelihood. Right. We're looking at these laws that are being passed.
Mm-hmm.
That are these laws that are passed that are designed to keep us as second class citizens, right? So the idea of the American dream, right? The idea,
Yes.
the whole image of baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie, and the American flag, that all kind of just fades away in light, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That are enacted against our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, it takes on a whole another form that's it's not pleasant, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way that it's been projected towards us through,
Yeah.
through imagery, right? Through the media, right?
Through the media. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, and through um this can I say it? Um Administration.
Sure, sure.
You know, because you on page 17, you say the unavoidable and inevitable conversation about the, you say, Trump era means only that many people who have been presumed to be fair, objective, reasonable, and level headed were ultimately far more concerned about being right. And then you put in parentheses, pun intended. I like that. I like that. Then being honest, not only about 45, Mr. 45, we know who that is, but
Sure.
the actual social economic conditions plaguing America. If one criticizes the president, that's all any of his supporters need to be dismissive, in denial, and redirect the conversation. Where were you January the 6th, this past Wednesday? And you, as a Black man in America, what were you feeling when you saw the Capitol being stormed? We can talk about it.
Sure. Disheartened, which is that's not really that different from how I have been feeling for the past,
Right.
right? So it wasn't unusual, it wasn't a shock, it wasn't a surprise. What was going on in my thoughts at that time was, oh, they finally did something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I because I saw it on the horizon. I see regularly in my own backyard, Trump supporters.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I see the Stop the Steal banners. I see the what's the latest one? 1776 again,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
2020. Um, that's right there for
Right, right there.
yeah. So it
Mm-hmm.
I was anticipating something of that magnitude. I think my docs were, like I said, oh, they finally did something, but
Yeah,
I
and then,
didn't know if they were going to storm the Capitol or if they were going to do something like in community, like in my, I can't say that I was necessarily fearful, but uh
I think all of us were a little frightened to a certain extent. And then when you watch that, what came back, what comes to mind, when the towers were hit in 9/11. That's the kind of thing you think of when you look at the news and you say, what are they going to do? And
sure.
when they started storming, my first thought was, where are the National Guards? Where are the guards that stood on the Capitol steps for the Black Lives Matters protest? Where are the National Guards? Where are they? Yes, I agree with you, Miss Washington. She says,
Oh, sure, for sure.
for sure. But they better be ready this time, right, y'all? They need to be ready this time. Let's jump ahead a little bit because we do have some stuff we got to cover here. And this is going to be a little touchy subject right here. I was surprised when I opened up the book and I got to wait a minute. Before I say that, I just want to touch on Second Chronicles 7:14, where God says, "If my people who are called by my name humble themselves, pray, seek my face, turn from their wicked ways, then I will forgive their sins, hear from heaven, and heal this land." So the Christians, us, His people, we have to humble ourselves and we have to start praying. It's praying time.
Yes,
It's praying time. I just want to just share that.
sure.
We need to be praying for God to heal the land, and we know that scripture was written to Israel when they were sinning and being disobedient, and God was sending the locusts, and He wasn't letting it rain on their crops. So He told them what they had to do in order for Him to do what He needed to do for them. We got to do some stuff too. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yes. So we're gonna just skip over to chapter 8. Come on, y'all, help me out. We need some questions. We need some comments. It's that's right, Shalonda. That's what I'm saying. It's time to pray. No time to play. Our lives depend
But
on
what?
it. The diehard fan here, Shalonda Robinson. Thank you. Uh,
Good name.
so I want to just jump over here real quick. We don't. The interviews are normally 30 minutes long, but there's no way we can get this interview done in 30 minutes. So you will be sitting around for a minute or two. Is that all right?
Perfect.
All right. So chapter 8, y'all. Guess what is chapter 8? I'm gonna show you. Church hurt. Now let me now let me just say this before we talk about this. This is a very touchy subject. I've heard a lot of leaders say, "Oh, ain't no such thing as church hurt." People have to be careful about talking about church hurt, and we do because we don't want to discourage people that are coming to church. We don't want people to think that they're going to be hurt when they come to the church. That's not what we mean. But Arthur Robinson talked about, and while we're on that, I just want to say last week, that's why this stuck out to me, because last week we interviewed Dr. Tenaria Drummond, and the name of her book is "I've Been Hurt in the Church." So something's true here. It's here, and now here it is in your book on chapter 8. So I want you to expound on that. Don't let me do all the talking.
Yeah. So
Although I like to. Y'all know that, right? Come on.
I wanted to take space to uh, share my on church hurt. Um,
Okay.
I I felt as though the church was getting a bad rap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is that people have been so focused on the abuse, right? The toxicity, whatever negative things are happening in church, that they forgot that it's the institution that's held the Black community together for literally hundreds of years. So let's be balanced and let's be fair, right?
Yeah.
We bring these critiques. So, and not to invalidate people's, painful experiences, because
Okay.
I shared very clearly, I've experienced what I like to say hurt in the church, right? I wouldn't necessarily say it was church hurt. I've been hurt in many spaces, right?
Let me say this right here. See, on page 59, you say when in fact, anytime a group of people is gathered together,
Right.
the possibility and potential for hurt is always present. Let's put it in that era. I like that you put that there, so that it's whether we at work, whether we're at school, And I'll always say when we were talking with Dr. Tenaria, one of the things I said is church is its foundation is based on family. And we know family. Is any of my family watching? Oh, hey, Auntie. But we know family. Let's just keep it real. They can hurt your feelings, but let's take it to Joseph in the Bible. His father bought him the coat. Jacob bought him a coat. And what? His brothers were what? Jealous. Threw him in the pit. Was going to kill him. If it hadn't been for Judah, he'd have died in that pit.
Right.
So there's hurt. And it starts from family. Family. Jesus was hurt by his disciples.
Absolutely.
Right? Look, Peter denied him. Judas betrayed him. So there is a such thing. There is a such thing. It really is.
It's the point that I was trying to make is it's within the context of community. So if you're in the, if you're in a space with more than anyone other than yourself, somebody's going to say or do the wrong thing. It's only a matter of time. Right. So I would say that we've been ill-equipped towards conflict resolution, right? And putting too much responsibility and onus on the leadership, on the pastor, right?
Right.
On elders or whatever. They're supposed to just do everything. And then there's a question.
That's what I want. I don't want to cut. I don't want to. Yeah. How do you handle that hurt? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. That's a great question. So, and I can only speak subjectively, obviously, from my experience. I ultimately had to own my hurt. Right. So what that meant was don't act like it's not there when it's there. So, and I'm not sure if this has anything to do like with male pride or, or maybe I may have been socially conditioned to act out in such a way where I didn't express my true feelings about certain things.
Right.
But it was not a teaching point, but it was a learning. It was something
A learning experience. Yeah.
And to mature. I had to, when someone said something and I knew it cut, right? I knew I had to own it and say that really did hurt me.
See, I like that right there.
It's
I
so
like that.
yeah. So there wasn't, whatever. Which I think often
that's why we need God to help.
Response to offense is emotionally immature.
Oh my goodness, that's what I was saying last week, that
In pro-
once you grow, you're gonna, it's just like children, we're babes in Christ, we're coming into church and we're learning, and we have to recognize certain things. And yeah, sure, there's gonna be favoritism, and and people are gonna be put in positions that it's not what you know, who you know type of position. Sometimes it's a lot of stuff that can be happening before our eyes, but sometimes once we start to mature and pray and seek God, we can handle certain situations a little bit better than we could in the beginning. So I like that, what you're saying about maturity.
sure. So
And
what?
Valerie Garrett, she has a valid point here. She said that's why we need God to help us in every aspect of our lives. I like that right there.
Right. So what I would attach to that is we have to mature to a point to where we actually leave space for people to make mistakes.
Did you rebel? I like that right there. I'll let him go first because ooh, he said no. All right, I'll take it away. I did. Know what? I rebelled against. Can I talk about it a little bit? I rebelled because of tradition, things handed down from generation to generation. And you mentioned it in your book about the traditions of
Hmm.
wearing dresses, no makeup. You mentioned no movies in your book. I read it. I read it. And I was like, oh, and that you were talking about, and we don't want to offend any religions or not, there is a difference in religion and spirituality. We know that, but we don't want to offend. But you were talking about Pentecostal church, and so my thing was study to show thyself approved unto God. Okay, a workman needs not be ashamed, rightly divide the word of truth, right? So when you start to delve in the word and it starts to come up off the pages and apply to your life, then you can deal more with what it is that's going on. All the church hurt, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to wear that stuff that God don't even see, because we know that man is looking at the outer and God is looking at the heart. So Dr. Tenario says, was it how someone mishandled you in the church? Oh, he said that he didn't rebel, but you talk about church hurt. So you got to answer these questions.
Oh yeah, I was mishandled many times in the church. Yeah, I was mishandled. Now, the the important thing to mention is that at the time, I didn't. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I didn't perceive it as being mishandled. I perceived it as I was in the wrong and I needed to submit,
Mm-hmm.
because leadership sets the rules and the boundaries, and it's my position to fall in line. Period.
Oh, all right. So listen, y'all, we got to move off the church hurt thing because we just got to move. It's so much in here. Like it's a lot. Y'all, come on, y'all gonna have to buy the book. Hold on a minute. Y'all gonna have to get the book. Let me put the name of the book up here. Crossroads is the name of the book. One Black Man's Journey Through Race, Religion, and Politics. So we want y'all to get the book. Oh, if you're gonna get the book, please put it in the comments. Mishandle is an understatement. Somebody said mishandle is an understatement. I want to talk to you, Mr. Wilson.
That bro.
Yeah.
That's
I know, but we can't. We got to move on. We can't stay on this subject.
that's my bro.
That's your bro.
It's nothing. I have nothing but love for him. Just
Okay.
love.
All right, so I'm just going to move on to something that's really important, something that's going on now, um, and that's Black Lives Matter. Y'all, hold on, don't leave, stick around. You really want to hear what Arthur Robinson is saying about Black Lives Matters in chapter 10. I ain't going to keep giving out too much information out of the book, but I do want to read some of this. So just stick around, listen, put your comments in, give them some hearts, give them some love, share the video, start a watch party. Let's get him as much exposure as we possibly can. So just stick around while I just read a little bit, a little passage from what he says. Author Rian Robinson says about Black Lives Matters. I'm going to read it really, really quickly. He says, the day of Rodney King's brutal beating began as one so serene and uneventful. He said he was living with his mother after losing his job and considering what was next. The serenity was interrupted by the video flashing across the television. We all remember that. He said, I watched in complete horror as the helpless man attempted to raise himself off the ground only to be beaten back down like an animal. We remember that. So he says, when my all subsided, I walked away from the TV in a zombie-like state. These are your words, right, Arthur Robinson? I'm reading from your book. It says, all I could think to do was walk. So I walked through my neighborhood crying. I felt helpless and hopeless. I was 2 years younger than King. He was unarmed and guilty of a crime millions of people do every day. Speeding. Speeding. So as the image of his beating replayed over and over in my mind, I couldn't help but think about all the times I drove well past the speed limit myself, coupled with the times I was stopped by the police for no apparent reason at all. I got to just read just a little bit more. It says, before that time, I had never before been so aware of my humanity. What was clear to me at that moment was that I didn't have to do anything at all. I only needed to be in whatever police officers felt threatened by my presence. He or she could bring swift, harsh judgment to my existence. Listen, y'all. This thing right here, I'm going to jump over to this paragraph. He says, what's painfully clear is that many whites have no interest in equality for blacks. The cost is too great a burden. It would mean segregating our schools, advocating for fair housing, equal pay, and bringing the racial wealth gap and complete social integration. I would argue that most affluent whites have no desire whatsoever to entertain the idea of black equality. It would disrupt the comfort of their small, tight-knit culture they've enjoyed exclusively for so long. Come on, expound on your Black Lives Matters chapter just a little bit. I just wanted to read some of that, y'all, so y'all know y'all got to get this book.
Yeah, so the reason why I opened the chapter with the Rodney King incident was that was a turning point for me. Because I was literally traumatized by watching this black man get the hell beat out of him on television. Like, it literally horrified me. And
all of us,
like I said, I walked and walked and walked, and I just cried bitter tears. Well, as you read, but it was a turning point, and it was an epiphany in the most horrible sense. Because normally an epiphany is an enlightenment, right? Like, oh my God, like, I'm 20 some odd years old. All this time, I thought if I did what I was supposed to do, I would be okay. Here I see this man speeding. He gets beat within an inch of his life.
Yeah.
Why? How could that not be me? Which was what came to mind, right? How could that not be? Of course that could be me.
Yes.
Of course that would. That's the primary reason why I opened. The other reason why I talked about that incident was I wanted white people to see what we feel, right?
It,
What we feel when we see the Philando and the Oscar Grant. And I don't, me personally, I don't even like to go down the name of lists, the
mm-hmm,
names, because that in itself is traumatic for me,
mm-hmm.
right? That's traumatic for me.
And me too. I have two black sons. I have black nephews. I have black cousins. I have black uncles, and you
Black
know,
in
black.
your life
Mm-hmm.
is an just make you, it's cause concern. So I will say also that with Ahmaud Arbery
Mm-hmm.
and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, those they weren't in succession, but they kind of, they were all within, a relative short span. This was in the middle of me writing the book, and I had to pause,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
write anything until I got myself right. So I took a break for about 3 weeks, um, just to regain some emotional,
Yeah,
because it's traumatic,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I wanted to show for white people, this is what we go through.
This is what we go through. Yeah,
So
and I'm sure they see it enough on TV to realize what it is that we go through. We have, if you just tuned in, we have author Ryan J. Robinson. We have discussed this book, Crossroads, One Black Man's Journey Through Race, Religion, and Politics. There's a lot of meat in this book. When I picked up the book, I was like, oh, wow, So I have indulged in the book, and I'm telling you, you really want to get this book. We don't have time. I did want to talk about the black on black crimes. Listen, y'all. You know what? When I read about the black on black crime, I'm just gonna say, I kind of figured that much about black on black crime, and what do that? That's a good question. I was going to ask this question. Thank you, Joy. That was my last question. I have it wrote down. So let me just take this question from Joy. She wants, what do you hope your readers, especially those who are non-black, will take away from Crossroads? I'm going to say, well, that's her question. Okay, non-black will take away from Crossroads. Okay,
great question.
it is.
I want the non-black readers to take away a sense of ownership, right? And so what that looks like for me is that you have a part to play in affirming the value of black people, right?
Mm.
You have a part to play. So
Mm-hmm.
put the work in.
Yeah.
Don't be content with what you may perceive as the strength of your relationships with black people up until this point, right? Look deeper, right? Go deeper, right?
Yes.
So even like if you're a non-black that frequents black spaces, that's not good enough, right? Um, that's not good enough. So when I talk about cultural appropriation, that's actually, and I don't want to give it away too much.
No, don't give away. Don't give it away. Listen, if
To
you're
the
going to buy the book, put it in
question,
your comments. Come on, put it in the comments. I'm buying the book. Put it in
yeah,
the comments. I'm buying the book. We are here to support you. I really would love to
yeah,
finish, huh?
I'm gonna answer the question real simple and succinct. Get to work. That's what y'all got. Y'all got work to do.
Yes, 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 yes,
Y'all,
yes. We all have
we've
work to
been,
do.
been working. We've been about racial justice and harmony, and we've been about this from the jump,
From the
right?
jump.
Y'all
And
get
that's what you talk about in the chapter of Black on Black crime. You take it all the way back to slavery. I read the book, you know, and see, because sometimes it is hard for me because I interview every week, but I did indulge into the book, and because that's really a question that people are asking today. If Black life matters, why is there Black on Black crime? So we're gonna have to we might have to just bring you back. Or they just gonna have to buy the book. We're not giving them all that. We didn't gave y'all enough tonight. We didn't gave you enough. So I don't want to give the book away. I want you to go out and buy the book. So the name of the book is Crossroads: One Man's Journey Through Race, Religion, and Politics. I want you. Hi. Yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna just take this last comment. Tisha Jones says, "Are you involved in any organizations?" I like that question right there. That help
great.
young Black men have a positive voice in politics.
That's a great question.
So, yeah, I want you to answer the question, and while you're answering that question, also tell the viewers if you're going to write any more books and what's in store for the future for author Rian J. Robinson.
So to answer the question, I am not. Um, I don't know what to say. I'm not. There's another book
Okay.
on deck, which will be released sometime this year.
Mm-hmm. Thank
And
you, Joy.
yeah, so there's another book that's completed and it'll be published sometime this year. And I'm gonna start work on my third book sometime this year.
Okay, so I want y'all to go out purchase Crossroads. I'm telling you, you really need it, especially in such a time as this. You know, I have never watched CNN so much in my life. I would be like, oh no, not the news. I am so up on the news. I want to know what's going on in the world. I want to know what's going on in my surroundings. I want to know what's going to happen. So I want y'all to get the book, go out and get the book. Also, we like to support our authors with cash. So if you have a cash app, do you have a cash app, Author Robinson?
I do.
And what is your cash app?
I'm not sure how it.
Oh
I'm not
no. You got to be sure. So this is what we're gonna do.
to put it in.
When we finish, put it in the comments. You
Mm.
guys, the cash app will be in the comments. We'll go to the comments, get the cash app because we don't want to send the cash to the wrong person. So, or if you have PayPal, you can put the PayPal, however you want to get your cash. We normally do it tonight. So if you put it in the comments, you will be getting some cash because we like to support, especially our new authors. Yeah, right, y'all? Come on, y'all. Come on, give us some hearts, get some love, get some likes. So your brother man here, he says, from one brother to another, I love you and thank you for putting in the work in this book. Um,
Yeah, that's my bro. I love him. I love that dude.
and somebody say you, when you finish putting the comments, you guys, the cash app was coming. We'll go to the comments. Get the cash out because you don't want to send them cash to the, that's what I said. I don't know why, but that's exactly what I said. Thank you though, Penny, for confirmation. We don't want to send that money to the wrong. We want you to have it because what we do is we support our authors. We support our authors. So listen, y'all. I want y'all to get the book Crossroads by author Rian J. Robinson. I want to thank you so much for coming to Supporting Black Authors Book Club. It is an honor for me to be the first one to interview you. because this book is going places. Let me tell you. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be looking for you on the news. I'm going to be looking for you on all different type of shows and radio shows and TV shows. And you know, the Bible says that life and death is in the power of the tongue. So I'm speaking life into your book. I'm speaking success into your book because I believe that God is going to bless you. So I want to thank you so much for coming to Supporting Black Authors Book Club. We will be in touch. We'll look for your Cash App. And wait a minute. Somebody put a Cash App. Whose Cash App is this? Hold up. Is that your Cash App or is that her Cash App?
Apparently that is it. Yes.
Is
That's it.
Who's Joy?
My editor.
Oh, okay. Double money. Doubler money. Okay.
Double
So
our money.
So y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Y'all know what we do here at Supporting Black Authors Book Club. We are going to double his money. And we will. So watch your Cash App. I want to thank you so much for coming to Supporting Black Authors Book Club, and be safe out there in California. You're over there on the West Coast, so you be safe. And thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So there you have it, another episode of Supporting Black Authors Book Club. Please go out, buy the book. So, where is it? Oh, here it is, Crossroads. Get the book, and while you're at it, you might as well get I've Been Hurt in the Church by Dr. Tenaria. Also, Daddy's Girl, visionary author Angela Beth William Hawkins had the most views out of all the authors. Daddy's Girl, the ultimate covering. Purchase her book. She will be coming back for another interview because she had over 2,000 views. So she has to come back for another interview, you know. And if you don't mind getting my book, you can get my book too. My Daddy, the Devil in Me. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. You all listen, be safe, be careful. You know what we're going through in this with this administration, but I know that this too shall pass. Please, please be safe.